Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are working on my 2013 Jeep Wrangler and we are digging deep into the motor. We are taking out the aftermarket camshaft and we're putting in a stock MDS Delete cam. And I'm going to explain a couple reasons why I'm doing this. But let me start by saying first off, this video is not going to be a tutorial on how to do a cam swap. There's a lot of good tutorials on YouTube already out there. So there's really not going to be too many differences of what I do here compared to a lot of those other videos. But I will post a time lapse of this whole project, that way you can see it, and then I will do some voiceover on some of the important parts. So that being said, I want to start by saying why I'm changing out this camshaft. The current cam that I have is from FRP, and it is the Mark 82 cam. Nice cam, very powerful, especially with Flying Ryan's tune. I had the cam, I had the tune, and it's fast. Jeep's good. Very fast, drives nice. One thing that I do notice though is when I'm trying to off-road, and this is the whole reason I'm doing all of this work. When I'm off-roading and I'm trying to go up let's say a big rock or an obstacle where you have to go real slow and real controlled, if I try to give it a little bit of gas, it'll either bog down the motor or it'll want to just go. Or it'll sit there and the idle will surge a little bit when I'm just giving that little bit of throttle. I've tried messing with the tuning. I've even reached out to Ryan and he did some adjustments on the tune which made it a little bit better. But there's times I'm off-roading and I'm trying to be real gentle on it and people are like, come on, hurry up. And the next thing you know, I'm spinning the tires going up the obstacle, and that's not very safe, and that's not what I'm looking for. So what I want is a stock cam. So I am doing all the work here in the garage. I already pulled one of the heads and we are going to keep taking everything apart and we're going to swap out the cam. The cam that I'm putting in it is from TSP, and again it's MDS Delete. When I did the Mark 82, I already put Hellcat lifters, push rods, springs, everything's been upgraded, even their MSD plugs, and it's even the MSD Delete lifters. So I don't have to actually pull the lifters out for this, but you still want to pull them just to make sure that they don't fall down inside the motor once you pull the cam out. We're going to go ahead and we're going to keep on working, and then I'll do a little bit of driving comparison at the end. That way you can kind of see if it drives better. And then after that, I'll upload the factory Jeep Speed Shop tune, and then we'll go through and I'll show you guys how to do some tuning through HP tuners. Those will be some future projects that we have going on there. And yeah, doing it all inside the Jeep. So this is actually how I rebuilt this Jeep, and I put different pistons in here and everything, just like this inside the Jeep. Didn't take out the motor. All right, stay tuned. All right, so you can see here I got the whole front end cover pulled off. I got both heads pulled off. And you can see it's not that bad of a job. I mean, okay, yeah, you're in here really deep and it's a big job, but it is definitely doable inside the Jeep without removing the motor. So now we need to make sure that this is timed correctly, and then we will unbolt and remove this camshaft sprocket. That way we can then remove the cam. But first I'm going to go through with a vacuum and a little brush and clean everything up. That way no dirt gets inside once we're putting everything back together. So I'll try to clean this up as best as I can. And then same with the heads. I'll just clean this surface area right here. And you can see here it says left. One important thing is after you get all of everything installed and torqued down for the rocker arms, turn the motor over quite a few times to make sure all the push rods are installed correctly. So I'm going to turn it over a good amount of times. That could be one main issue that you could have, is the push arm could not be in the arm all the way, or in the rocker arm. So just make sure everything's installed correctly, turn it over a good amount of times. That way you can avoid having to dig back into here if it's not installed correctly. And you can see here I'm using the actual puller to tighten this up. Alright, you can see here I am doing an adapter that is from the transmission lines to the AN, and this is AN8. And then I will have line coming out of here, and it'll come into the transmission cooler. This will be a much cleaner install than what I originally had, was just these wire hoses, and then I had like a barb connector to adapt to the different sizes. So this is the better option. Convert everything to AN fittings. All right, so we got most everything put back together. I did end up adding a different cooler. Instead of the big ones in front, I added this one's for the transmission, this one's for the power steering. And then I made sure to use AN8 fittings. The power steering is AN6. And then I was able to do hard fittings into the hard lines. So it goes the hard lines into an AN8 adapter. Got most everything put back together. Already filling the fluids, filling the transmission. I just filled the transmission with this top line right here. That way it just fills easily from here, and then once I do the fill procedure, I will pull the drain plug and fill it from the bottom side. That way it's filled properly. A lot of procedures online doing that. But now it is time to prime the engine with oil. So I have actually the spark plugs and the injectors unplugged. So I'm going to go through and just run the starter. I'm doing it this way. That way, instead of the way a lot of people do it is unplug the fuel pump. But I want to make sure that fuel is getting pressurized all the way to here and that there won't be any leaks. So that's why I'm just leaving the injectors and spark plugs unplugged. So we can go ahead and turn over the motor and prime everything with engine oil. And I did already fill up the engine with fresh oil. All right, we've got the spark plugs and injectors all plugged in. We've already uploaded the tune. That way it's a tune for a stock cam. We've already primed the engine with oil. So now it's time to let it start up, see how it sounds. I imagine it's going to do a lot of ticking. So yeah, let's go ahead and start it up, see how it sounds. And she starts, she smells good. You can see the little bit of oil is burning off of the headers over there. That is pretty expected. So yeah, she starts. Now we can go ahead and clean everything up and get all of our wires protected up. Make sure nothing's hitting anywhere. So very nice. A few weeks later, it was time to head up to Easter Jeep Safari for some off-roading. I would say putting back the stock cam was probably one of the best decisions that I made for my Jeep. It made off-roading a lot more controlled, so I definitely feel like the engine's not going to bog down, and I do feel safer when off-roading. Other things that I notice with everyday driving is when, for instance, pulling up to a stop sign, I don't feel like the Jeep is trying to lurch forward, even though I'm hitting the brakes. But I would say if you did not do any off-roading and all you did was drive the vehicle, go fast and enjoy it, then having a cam is definitely a nice option. With the type of off-roading I do, I definitely want to have the most control of the vehicle and I want it to be very predictable. I'm just gonna go nice and easy on it.
That was awesome. That was a little scary.